Nottingham Forest, who play their first European match in 3 decades. They face Real Betis in Spain in the Europa League, a competition that's very close to the heart of their head coach, Ange Postecoglou, because he won it with Tottenham last season. And former Tottenham midfielder Jamie O'Hara is our guest until midday. Right, given that Postecoglou has won it, how much does that help Nottingham Forest having that experience?
Yeah, it's definitely going to help for sure. You know, first time back in Europe for a long time. He has obviously won it last season, so he knows what it's about. So, yeah, look, I don't think it makes them favourites. You know, I think they've got some strong competition. But, look, it's going to help for sure because he's been there and he's been involved in a big moment. That will give the players some sort of confidence to say, we've got a manager in charge who has won the Europa League. So, yeah, am I convinced that Nottingham Forest can do it? No, I don't. And I don't think Spurs really and truthfully last season in the Europa League, we played some good teams. We didn't play great teams. You know, we beat Bodo Glimt in the semi-final. We beat Man United in a terrible Europa League final. We beat Frankfurt, who were bang average. So, look, all right, you still got to win, and we made it, and we got it done. I don't think it's going to be that easy for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, it's very different now that Champions League clubs don't fall into the Europa League. It's just look, going through the 36 teams in the league now. There's no kind of really obvious one. I would say there isn't like when Barcelona dropped down or someone like that. Villa stand out, of course, because they were so close to get into the Champions League. But going down there, Porto have got a good history. Roma as well, Stuttgart. But there's no huge teams, I would say.
No, you've got look. English sides now will look at the Europa League and the Europa Conference League and think, you know, we should be in the final. You know, we should be getting to the final because, as you said, it's a different format. The teams don't drop down. So if you are a team that finishes 5th or 6th and you get Europa League football in the Premier League, really and truthfully, you're going into that competition as one of the strongest teams there. So, you know, Nottingham Forest should be getting to the latter stages for sure. Do I believe they can win it? No, but Nottingham Forest ain't been in Europe for 30 years. You know, Tottenham won it. All right, you know, Tottenham ain't a great team, but we have been in and around Europe pretty much, you know, for a long, long time now. So we know what it's about. This is a new experience again for Nottingham Forest. I know they've done it in the past, but 30 years is a long time.
Yeah, let's bring a Forest fan into the conversation. Let's speak live to Kate Mines. Right, Kate, I mean, first of all, how excited are you about this? First time in 30 years in Europe.
Very, very excited. Yeah, I'm coming at you live from Seville this morning. The sun is shining and the Forest fans are out in force.
Fantastic.
No, Kate, I've got to ask you, Big Ange, he's in. Are you convinced he's the man? Because you conceded 10 goals already.
Am I convinced he's the man? He is the man. He's our manager. We, as a fan base, will absolutely get behind him, and we have got behind worse. So I'm giving him all the chances.
Yeah, I'd normally like to warm the guest up a little bit, but Jamie was straight in there. Conceded 10 goals already. Or conceded how many?
10 goals.
Yeah, that is true.
That was the worry, though, Kate, wasn't it? That Nuno was because we talked when Nuno went and Ange Postecoglou came in about how good Nottingham Forest defence was, and that was a concern that would all change with Ange Postecoglou. And so far, early days, it does seem to have happened.
Well, you got to remember that we've had Murillo out and we've got Olorena out till potentially January, which does have a big effect on our defence. However, Murillo should be back tonight, which I think is a massive positive. And, you know, when we spoke last time, we also spoke about our bench and our squad depth, and that definitely comes into play now. So yeah, conceding 10 goals obviously is not ideal. Nobody wants that, and what we need to get better at is scoring goals.
Yeah,
hopefully that starts tonight.
Yeah, it's a shame, you know, because I really like Nuno. I thought he'd done a great job, and I think he deserved to have this season in Europe. And look, it got sour very quickly with Marinakis or whatever the situation was, but I thought Nuno would have done a really good job in Europe. You know, resilient, hard to beat. You know, you can go long in. You know, you can go into the back stages of a tournament with that style of football. I don't know. I just look. You're going to win games, right? Because you've got good players. I'm just not convinced that this Nottingham Forest side, you know, are ready for an Ange Postecoglou style of football. I don't know. I could be a little bit worried.
I think I share some of that worry. I think a lot of the fans do. However, as a very, very great man once said, I hope people aren't stupid enough to write us off.
Yeah.
Kate, on the other side of what Jamie was saying there, you do have a manager who has won this tournament before. So how much can that help you?
I think in reality, Ange Postecoglou was brought in for this competition, and that very much starts tonight. And, you know, it does give us some confidence because he does know this competition. He's won this competition with Spurs, who were not great last season. And so I think that, like you said, we should be looking to get to the latter stages of this competition.
Yeah.
Should we be favourites to win? I think we should be up there. We're Premier League. We've very much stated our claim that we are a Premier League team and we're here to stay. So why not? Yeah.
You're out there to watch the game, presumably. What's the atmosphere like there with all the Forest fans? You're all reminiscing about some of the very hard times you've had over the last years to get to this stage.
Do you know, we flew out from Gatwick last night and they had to put over the plane's tannoy. Can we please remind people that you are on a plane and not in the ground right now? Because we were chanting and singing away, and all these poor people that were just, you know, on their flight home were like, what on earth is happening on this plane? But it was all really, really good natured. And there are some fans that are reminiscing, but for a lot of people this is our first time. This is my first time seeing us play competitively in Europe. You know, there are lots of people bringing the younger generation out here, their kids, to experience this, and this is about Forest now. This is about Forest now. We are here, we are in Seville, we are playing Betis tonight, and we are having the time of our lives.
I couldn't have think of anything worse than being on a flight from Gatwick, going out to Seville with a load of Nottingham Forest fans. Honestly, I would have been like, can you pipe down? You ain't been here for 30 years.
Well, that's why they're doing it.
Honestly,
that's why they're starting to do it.
Give us a
The problem
break.
would be, there's no doubt they drank the trolley car
Yeah, the old
dry.
trolley
That's
was
the
up
problem.
and down.
You left everybody else thirsty, didn't you? In terms
It was a party plane, I tell you.
And so it should be. I am on your side 100%.
No.
It's 5 points from 5 games so far. We know it hasn't been the start of the season that you've liked in the Premier League, but it is early days. What is the aim this season?
The aim this season remains to have a good showing in the Premier League. I am looking at top 12, top 10 being where we are aiming for. Obviously, we have gone out the Carabao, but we are very much still in Europe. A good run in Europe. We'll see what happens in the FA Cup. You know, the opportunities are there for us. We have a good squad. We do need to get used to Ange. Ange needs to get used to us. That is happening. We did see that start to happen against Burnley at the weekend. Okay, it wasn't the win that we wanted, but there was progress made. Gibbs White had a better game. Douglas Luiz started. He was fantastic. We are moving in the right direction, I think.
Just quickly, do you really believe that you'll be happy with 10th or 12th, you said? I mean, Marinakis, if you're going to change the manager, you nearly got Champions League football last season. I don't think Marinakis has brought in Ange to finish 10th.
It depends what else we do, though, doesn't it? You know, the success of a season, there are lots of routes to success. One of them is the competition that we play in tonight. There is still the FA Cup. So if we're doing well in some of those competitions and finishing 10th, I think that's a successful season. If we go out all the cups, then yeah, absolutely. We need to be sure that we're qualifying for Europe again. But there are lots of different ways to qualify a successful season. I mean, like Spurs, for example, you know, they won their first silverware, but had a terrible season in the Premier League. I don't want that. I don't want to be in a relegation battle, and that would be absolutely unacceptable.
You would take a relegation battle in Europa League win all day.
As long as they stay up. I mean, a successful relegation battle.
I mean, it's a question I've been asked a lot. Ask me later.
And what's the answer?
Ask me at 9 o'clock tonight.
You've already realised you've
Europa League winners.
Established you're drinking the bars dry. We're not speaking to you later. That's why I'm speaking to you now. and in this Europa League, just finally on this, we know that you can finish in the top 24 out of 36 and still get through to the next round. Surely you're more than confident about top 24, if not top 8 in this league stage?
I am, and this I think is the most difficult game that we've got. Porto's not going to be easy either. However, what's great about this game is that if we don't win, or if we don't come back with anything, it doesn't put us out of contention.
Yeah.
There is a lot less pressure on the players for this game, and we are here to have a good time and have a go and sing Mull of Kintyre at the top of our voices in Seville, and that let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, best of luck. I'll be spending the weekend in Nottingham for Forest v Sunderland on the Saturday night football this Saturday, so I might bump into you if you're if you've recovered.
We'll be there
by then. If you've recovered by then. Great to speak to you, Kate. Thank you.
Take care, Kate.
Thanks.
Coming next, we've got your questions for Jamie O'Hara, and one fan has called Jamie deluded.
It's not
Find out why next.